Here are Grandpa's Poor Man hacks to unlimited heat for your home. No electric needed. Exterior windbreak shield. Grandpa knew that cold wind was often the real enemy, not the temperature itself. An exterior windbreak shield works by slowing harsh winter air before it ever reaches your walls, reducing pressure that forces heat out through cracks and seams. Unlike insulation alone, which reacts after cold arrives, a windbreak prevents heat loss at the source. To build one, start by identifying the side of your home facing the strongest winds. Place stacked firewood, straw bales, fencing, or dense shrubs several feet away from the wall to slow airflow. Once built, allow the barrier to remain in place throughout winter storms, letting calmer air protect your home day and night. The result? More stable indoor warmth without burning extra fuel. But what if stopping wind outside could make every heat source inside work even better? Heated stone radiant warmers. Why let stored heat fade away when stone can release it for hours? Heated stone radiant warmers are all about capturing warmth and holding onto it using dense natural materials. To take advantage of this method, choose thick stones like soapstone, granite, or masonry as they absorb heat deeply and release it slowly. Heat the stones near a fireplace, wood stove, or inside an oven until fully warmed through. Once heated, carefully move them into living areas, placing them near seating spaces or along cold walls. As temperatures drop, the stone gradually radiates steady warmth back into the room. This method requires no electricity, no fuel, just smart heat storage and timing. But what if you could go beyond stored warmth and use your own body position to keep heat from escaping? Grandpa had a trick for that, too. Low-level seating heat retention. Grandpa always said, heat stays where the body stays. Low-level seating does just that by keeping your body closer to the warmest air in a room. To use this method, start by lowering chairs, cushions, or benches closer to the floor, where heat naturally settles instead of rising away. Add thick pads, folded blankets, or rugs beneath seating to block cold transfer from below. Position seating near heat sources like stoves, radiators, or sunlit walls for maximum effect. As your body warms the surrounding air, the lower position helps trap that heat instead of letting it drift upward. For even more efficiency, use insulated backrests or wall hangings behind seating to prevent heat loss. It's an old-school poor man's approach that turns simple posture into warmth retention. But not every heat-saving trick relies on furniture placement. Sometimes clothing itself does the job. Layered clothing heat trap. What if you could turn ordinary clothing into a surprisingly effective heat source? That's exactly how layered clothing heat traps work. To use this method, start with a snug base layer that sits close to the skin, helping capture body warmth. Next, add an insulating middle layer, like wool or fleece, to hold that heat in place. Finish with an outer layer that blocks drafts and prevents warm air from escaping. As your body generates heat, each layer slows heat loss, creating a warm pocket of trapped air around you. Because air is an excellent insulator, this setup works especially well in cold conditions. While it won't heat a room, it keeps your core warm for hours. And if you're looking to keep that warmth from escaping overnight, bedding plays a crucial role. Indoor coat and hat retention. Indoor heat loss often starts with the body, but the right clothing can act as an extra layer of insulation. To get the most out of indoor coat and hat retention, start by wearing a light jacket or insulated sweater even while inside, especially in cooler rooms. Add a hat or knit cap to prevent heat from escaping through the head, where significant warmth is lost. Choose materials like wool or fleece that trap heat effectively without restricting movement. Wear them consistently instead of waiting until you feel cold. This simple habit helps maintain the body warmth longer and reduces the need for extra heating. Sometimes, the smartest solutions are the simplest ones, like this next one. Foot insulation with rags and socks. Keeping heat from escaping through your feet doesn't have to be expensive. Layered rags and socks work surprisingly well as insulation. To apply this method, start by wrapping dry cloth rags around your feet as a base layer. Next, pull on thick socks to hold the rags snugly in place and trap warm air. Add a second pair of socks if needed, especially in colder conditions. Once in place, the trapped air pockets create an insulating barrier, reducing heat loss while keeping circulation comfortable. This method works because air slows heat transfer, keeping warmth close to the body. For best results, use wool or cotton materials. Cold feet steal body heat fast, but what if drafts entering the room are making it worse? Cold room isolation. A cold, unused room can make an entire house feel colder, but isolating it can block that heat drain. To use cold room isolation, start by identifying spaces that don't need daily heating, such as spare bedrooms or storage areas. Close doors tightly and seal gaps with draft blockers, towels, or thick blankets. Shut vents and hang heavy fabric over doorways to prevent warm air from escaping into unused spaces. The sealed boundary keeps heat concentrated where you live instead of spreading thin. This method is effective because it physically reduces heat loss, making occupied rooms feel warmer without extra fuel. But doors aren't the only places where heat escapes. Your floors play a role too, and there's an easy way to insulate them. One-room living strategy. Heating an entire house can waste energy, but focusing on one room keeps warmth where it matters most. The one-room living strategy works by concentrating daily activities into a single, well-insulated space. To use this method, choose the room that receives the most sunlight or sits closest to your main heat source. Close off unused rooms by shutting doors, sealing vents, and hanging thick curtains or blankets over entryways. Add rugs, layered bedding, and soft furnishings to help retain or heat inside the space. This method works because reducing the heated area allows warmth to build and stay consistent. Plus, it creates a naturally cozier living environment without raising fuel use. Insulating space is one trick, but what about making the heat you generate last longer? There's a simple rule for that. Heat conservation rule. Heat sources warm a room, but much of that warmth gets lost when it spreads into empty, unused space instead of staying where people are. A simple fix? Control the volume that heat is allowed to fill. To apply the heat conservation rule, start by closing doors to unused rooms and blocking hallways with curtains or hanging blankets. Reduce high ceilings with temporary fabric panels or dividers to keep warmth at body level. Avoid heating areas that aren't actively occupied. This works because heat disperses into empty space and cools faster when spread thin. Maximizing efficiency is key, but for those who want to take heating to the next level, there's one old-fashioned method that has stood the test of time: quilt and blanket stack insulation. Grandpa always swore by layered quilts for their ability to trap and hold warmth long after the heat source was gone. Thick blankets, especially when stacked, absorb body heat and prevent it from escaping into the air. To use this method effectively, start by laying a heavy quilt directly over the body, then add additional blankets on top to build insulating layers. Tuck the edges tightly around the sides to block drafts and seal in warmth. Place denser blankets on the outside and softer ones closer to the body for comfort. This works because trapped air between layers slows heat loss dramatically, keeping warmth steady for hours. It's a method used for generations and still works today. Sometimes, the best heating tricks aren't modern at all, like this next one. Underbody bedding insulation. When nights turn cold or warmth fades quickly from a bed, underbody bedding insulation can make a surprising difference. To use this method, start by placing thick blankets, quilts, or folded comforters directly beneath your body instead of only on top. Add a mattress pad, wool blanket, or layered towels to block cold transfer from below. Stack materials tightly so there are no gaps where heat can escape. As your body warms the layers, the insulation traps that heat and reflects it back upward. This works because most body heat is lost downward into cold surfaces if unprotected. While this won't heat an entire room, it keeps you warm through the night without electricity. But what about keeping bedding warm before you even climb in? There's an easy way to do that too. Pre-warmed bedding storage. Beds can feel cold at night, but storing bedding warm keeps heat where you need it most. Pre-warmed bedding storage works by using existing heat instead of letting blankets cool all day. To do this, place blankets and sheets near a heat source such as a stove, radiator, or sunny window during the day. Fold them tightly to help retain warmth. Just before bedtime, move the warmed bedding directly onto the bed and layer it quickly to prevent heat loss. As the stored warmth releases, it creates an immediate, cozy environment. This simple adjustment makes falling asleep easier without extra energy use. The best part? It requires no electricity, just smart timing. Keeping bedding warm matters, but what about keeping moisture from stealing that heat overnight? There's a simple rule for that. Moisture-free bedding rule. Damp bedding is like an open chimney. It quietly pulls warmth away all night long. To prevent heat loss, the moisture-free bedding rule is a simple but powerful solution. To apply it, start by fully drying all blankets, sheets, and mattress pads before use. Even slight dampness matters. Air bedding daily by pulling covers back or hanging them briefly near warmth or sunlight. Avoid sleeping in wet clothing and keep humidity low in sleeping areas. Dry materials trap heat while moisture steals it through evaporation. This method preserves body warmth without adding layers or fuel. A dry bed makes a huge difference, but what if you could keep your body warm even while sleeping? There's an old-fashioned poor man's trick for that. Bedtime hat and sock retention. Before modern heating, people relied on simple habits to stay warm through the night. The same principle applies to bedtime hat and sock retention for conserving body heat. To use this method, put on a soft knit hat and thick socks just before getting into bed. Make sure both are dry and not too tight, allowing circulation while trapping warmth. The head and feet lose heat quickly, so covering them reduces overall heat loss. As your body warms the bedding, retained heat stays balanced instead of escaping. This works because insulation at key points preserves core temperature efficiently. Passive body insulation is an old trick, but what if your sleeping setup itself could store and release warmth all night? There's a clever way to make that happen. Floor cold barrier insulation. A cold floor is a powerful heat thief, but a floor cold barrier is a simple way to stop it. It works by placing insulating layers between your body and the cold surface below. To use this method, start by covering floors with thick rugs, carpets, or layered blankets, especially in sleeping and sitting areas. Add insulating pads, cardboard, or foam beneath rugs to increase effectiveness. Focus on areas where you spend the most time, such as beside beds or near seating. During the day, these layers absorb warmth from the room and bodies above them. At night, the stored heat is slowly released upward, maintaining comfort without electricity or fuel. Raised sleeping surface. A raised sleeping surface is a powerful and efficient way to keep body heat from being pulled away during cold nights. To use this method, start by lifting your bed off the floor using a frame, pallets, bricks, or sturdy blocks. Even a few inches makes a noticeable difference. Cold air settles low, and direct contact with the floor drains warmth quickly. By elevating the sleeping area, heat remains around your body instead of being absorbed downward. For even better efficiency, add insulating layers beneath the mattress, such as cardboard, foam, or folded blankets. This setup helps store and slowly reflect warmth back upward through the night. With the right height and insulation, simple elevation provides long-lasting comfort. But staying warm isn't just about where you sleep. Shared body heat sleeping. The key to staying warm without cranking up the heat? Sharing body warmth. Shared body heat sleeping works by combining natural heat sources instead of relying on external fuel. To use this method, sleep close to another person or even a pet, allowing body warmth to accumulate in a smaller shared space. Use shared blankets rather than separate ones to prevent heat from escaping between bodies. Position yourselves so there are no gaps where cold air can settle. As bodies generate heat through the night, the combined warmth stays trapped under the covers. This works because heat loss slows when warmth is shared instead of isolated. For maximum effect, pair this method with insulated bedding layers. But when extra warmth is needed, an age-old poor man's trick involving hot water can make all the difference. Hot water heat boost. A hot water heat boost is a simple yet effective way to raise body warmth fast, even in freezing conditions. To use this method, heat water until hot but not boiling, and pour it into a sturdy bottle, jar, or metal container, leaving a small air gap before sealing. Wrap it in a towel or thick cloth to prevent burns. Then place it under blankets, near your feet, or against your core. The heat releases gradually, warming the body without electricity. This works because water retains heat extremely well and releases it slowly over time. Used before sleep, it pre-warms bedding and muscles alike. a reliable method that has lasted generations. But what if food itself could help your body generate even more heat? You can achieve the same effect with something even more old-fashioned, but not costly. High-calorie thermal eating. Before modern heating, people warmed themselves from the inside, a simple yet effective trick that still works today. To try this method, prepare low-cost, high-calorie foods such as oats, rice, beans, lentils, potatoes, or eggs, cooking them thoroughly and eating them hot. Warm meals immediately raise body temperature, while dense calories provide long-lasting energy. Eat these foods in the evening or before rest, so heat production continues for hours. The body absorbs and releases this energy gradually, creating steady internal warmth. This works because digestion itself produces heat, turning food into fuel over time. High-calorie meals were once a winter staple, keeping families warm through long, cold nights. And if you want to create a microclimate of warmth within your home, there's a childhood trick that still works wonders. Low-cost indoor tent camp setup. A cozy indoor tent isn't just for camping. It's a powerful way to trap warmth and stay comfortable inside. To create one, use what you have. Drape blankets over a table, chairs, a couch, or even hang sheets from door frames or bunk beds to form an enclosed space. If no furniture works, stack boxes or lean cushions to build a simple frame. Inside, layer rugs, pillows, and folded blankets to insulate from the cold floor. Grandpa advised to add a safe heat source like a hot water bottle to raise the temperature gently. This setup works because a smaller enclosed space holds body heat far better than a full room. It's a method used for generations. Sometimes the simplest setups are the warmest, like using the next trick. Pre-sleep circulation exercise. Light movement is one of the most effective and affordable ways to generate body heat, keeping you warmer before sleep. To activate circulation using this method, perform gentle exercises such as walking in place, slow squats, arm swings, or stretching for 5 to 10 minutes before bed, making sure movements are steady and controlled. Focus on warming the hands, feet, and core without sweating. Once finished, move directly into bed to trap the heat you've created. This method works because increased blood flow distributes warmth evenly throughout the body. It's a reliable, long-lasting habit used for centuries in colder climates. But insulation isn't the only way to generate heat. Nature's leftovers provides another surprising source of warmth. Leaf pile heating. A leaf pile isn't just yard waste. It can also generate and hold heat when used correctly. To create one, pack dry leaves tightly into a contained pile positioned against an exterior wall near living spaces. Keep the pile at least 3 feet thick so internal warmth can build. As the leaves slowly decompose, microbial activity produces heat that can reach temperatures of 120 to 150 degrees Fahrenheit deep inside the pile. This heat can be harnessed by placing the pile directly against foundation walls, where it radiates warmth inward while blocking cold ground and wind exposure. The packed leaves also trap air, increasing insulation value. This method works because natural decomposition releases thermal energy while reducing heat loss. Who knew fallen leaves could help fight the cold? And if leaves can do this, soil itself might be even more powerful. Warm soil banked against foundation. Soil isn't just dirt. It's an ancient and powerful thermal mass that can protect a home for months. To use warm soil banked against a foundation, start by piling loose earth, composted soil, or packed topsoil tightly along the exterior base of your home, especially on wind-facing sides. Build the bank at least 1 to 2 feet high and slope it away from the wall to prevent moisture buildup. As the ground absorbs daytime warmth, the dense soil retains heat and shields the foundation from freezing air. Internal soil temperatures remain far warmer than outside air, slowing heat loss through the walls. This method works because thermal mass stores and releases heat gradually while blocking wind exposure. Farmers relied on it for generations. But what if there were a way to make the most of the warmth that already arrives each day? Daytime solar gain. Daytime solar gain is an easy, off-grid way to bring warmth into your home using sunlight alone. To use this method, open curtains and blinds on sun-facing windows during daylight hours, allowing sunlight to enter freely. Position dark floors, walls, or furniture where sunlight can strike them directly so they absorb heat. As the day progresses, these surfaces store warmth and slowly release it into the room. This works because sunlight delivers steady thermal energy without fuel or electricity. Used consistently, it raises indoor temperatures naturally, but even with free heat coming in, keeping that warmth from escaping becomes just as important. Nighttime window covering. Windows aren't just for light, they can also be major sources of heat loss after sunset. To create an effective nighttime window covering, layer thick materials like blankets, quilts, thermal curtains, or even cardboard tightly over windows once the sun goes down. Seal the edges to prevent air gaps using tape, rods, or furniture to hold coverings in place. As indoor air cools, the trapped layers create a warm buffer zone against the glass, which can otherwise drop to near outdoor temperatures. This stored warmth stays inside instead of radiating outward through the window. The method works because layered fabrics trap air and slow heat transfer naturally. Who knew covering glass could make such a difference? And if windows need sealing, another overlooked opening might matter even more. Spare clothing. Door barrier. A drafty door can make an entire room feel colder, but spare clothing can block that chilly air just as effectively. To make a clothing door barrier, gather old jackets, sweaters, jeans, or towels, and roll or fold them tightly into a long, dense bundle. Shape it to match the width of the doorway and press it firmly against the gap at the bottom of the door. According to Grandpa, heavier fabrics work best as their weight helps create a tighter seal. The layered clothing traps air and physically blocks cold drafts while keeping warm air inside. This method is effective because it stops heat loss at one of the most common exit points. It's a small change with a big impact. But what if the heat you would already create inside your home didn't have to go to waste at all? Residual cooking heat use. Residual cooking heat is an easy way to warm your home using energy you've already paid for. To use this method, leave the oven door open after cooking once it's turned off and safe, allowing stored heat to flow into the room. Keep pot lids off briefly and let steam release warmth into the air. Position yourself nearby while food finishes resting. Cast iron pans and heavy cookware continue radiating heat long after burners shut down. This works because retained heat doesn't vanish instantly, it slowly disperses into surrounding space. Used consistently, it raises indoor warmth without extra fuel. But even with free heat available, how you warm your body matters most, especially in deep cold. Body first heating discipline. Not all warmth needs to come from heating a house, and focusing on the body first can dramatically improve comfort. Body first heating discipline means warming yourself before trying to warm the space around you. To use this method, start by insulating your body with layered clothing, hats, socks, and blankets before increasing room heat. Sit, sleep, and work in insulated zones where body heat is retained. Use movement, warm food, and direct heat near the body instead of heating empty air. This method works because a warm body needs far less ambient heat to feel comfortable. Sometimes, the simplest way to stay warm isn't about generating more heat, it's about keeping what you already have. For more contents like this, click here to subscribe.